great. I love this. We have such a diverse group, and that is exactly what makes this masterclass so valuable. And I want to start by telling you something very important. So I just want to reframe it. I want to start by telling you something very important. So no matter what industry you come from, let's say non-for-profit, for-profit, tech, non-tech, accounting, retail, operations, manufacturing, etc., etc. And you always find something that is business analyst related. So you know what? Business analysts exists everywhere. Like because every industry has its problems. And then every industry has inefficiencies. Wherever there is process, there is issues, there are problems, there are messy workflows, and there are people who need help. And then ultimately, a BA is simply like somebody who helps a business to understand the problem and implement the solution. So you know what? Um, Australians, they're not exactly the most efficient people. I feel a little bit bad in saying that, but it's truth. So systems are old and upgrades, they're very expensive because people here are expensive. Resources are very limited. So companies here, they're always looking for ways to, let's say, first improve their process, second, reduce their manual work, automate their tasks, upgrade their systems, or sometimes just throw away the entire system and replace it with a new one. That's why BA work is everywhere. It doesn't matter which industries you're coming from. So, yeah. So again, back to our industry masterclass. So in this series of masterclass, what we are going to do is we are going to walk through the four key parts of a real world project. Doesn't matter, guys, industry doesn't matter what background you're coming from, what industry you're coming from, manufacturing, retail, etc., etc. And then just build up a mindset because that applies for every single industry, that applies for every single project. And yeah, the reason these four pieces are important, it's because they follow the natural life cycle of any business analyst project. So let me break it down for you. Masterclass 1, Project 1. And I see a question. Are we required to sign in the Google Drive and download? Uh, I don't mind. Like, I mean, ultimately, it's your Google Drive account. If you can just download the whole drive, the whole folder, do it. You are not required to sign in. The whole point is that you grab your PDF, you grab your worksheet, and then let's work on this together. Okay, cool. Done. So here is project one. That's what we are going to work on today, process optimization. And I'm going to blend in a lot of keynotes, like what people say what people mean when they say as is to be, when they say gap analysis, when they say this, when they say that, everything's process related. So this is always the beginning of a project. It starts with like the manager said, or the operator, or whoever said, hell, well, we have a problem. So what should we do? So that's always the start of something. So we analyze the current process, what we call it the as is. And then we understand what needs to be improved, right? And then when you optimize a process, only three things can happen. I will repeat here, only three things can happen. You optimize the process itself, and then say there are 5 steps it takes everyone to complete something, and then you optimize it, and then ultimately there are 3 steps. Or you optimize the people, and then you all know what optimizing people means, right? Getting the system in place, optimize people. Hi, and then hey, I'm people from the Philippines, or hey, people from India, and then they're cheaper. And then, because honestly, what most likely going to happen is you optimize the system. You optimize the system because 80% of the time, the outcome is a system change. It can be enhancement, it can be an uplift, it can be a completely upgrade, it can be a migration, it can be anything, but ultimately it's about system change. And guess what? You optimize the system. You no longer need many people, so you optimize the people. So it's all related. It's yeah, it's sad, but it's all related. So there comes project 2 and 3 on our second masterclass. The requirements, where we will touch the business requirement document, sometimes we call it BRD, user stories, use cases, and then etc. etc. Everything's requirement related. So naturally, when the outcome is a system change, there is our second project. How do we solve the problem using a BA framework or using a BA way? That's a requirement. So that's where BA becomes the bridge between business and tech. Because honestly, you don't write code, you don't need to be technical, but what you do need is to run workshops and then to clarify the business needs. Stakeholder A say, I want this. And then you keep asking him, why do you want this? And is that actually really helping? And then if you go back to my fast track BA course, and then I keep saying, when stakeholder wants something, you know what? Ask him why. The why is more important than the how. And sometimes they will be like, well, actually, I realized that saying that bloody thing is not going to help. So I actually need B. So that's what we call requirement elicitation. It's like running workshops, having one-on-one sessions, asking people about questions, write requirements, and explains the why. Explain the why, the context, the scenario, and understand how the business actually works because people often panic when they hear it's a system project, it's very tech, and they think, oh my god, programming or SQL or IT, oh my god, so damn technical. No, it's not. So being a BA, it's not coding. It is really to understand where the people come from. Where do people come from? Where do people go? Where the data comes and goes, and where the money comes and goes. Money comes in, money goes out. Goes out as expenditure, goes in as revenue, or whatever format they go, because everything is related. And what each department needs, because there could be a lot of conflicting needs. Like people, let's say finance manager wants a very automated financial reporting, but then compliance like, well, hang on, automation is one thing, but we need to tick the compliance box, otherwise I will be in trouble. So every stakeholder has conflicts in needs. And then how the entire business flows. So that's the most valuable BA part, how the entire business flows. Without understanding that, whatever technology you put on that, it's gonna be like, what kind of problem are you solving? No, it's not deliverable. It's just you're not solving the problem. And we don't want to do the BA project or have the BA type of work just for the sake of doing something. Everything must be everything must be solved. And then in combination with project 2, and then there it comes with project 3 testing. So after you give IT the requirements, they will say, ah, yes, 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 we will do it, yeah, we will do it. It's very much like one of the IT guy from your previous work or current work from your IT department. Yes, we can do. And it's your classic offshore IT voice, whatever you say it. And then they come back weeks later and say, okay, we're done. And are you really going to trust them? Of course not. Just like when somebody hands you the money, you just don't assure you don't really assume it's correct, right? People say it's 5,000. What do? You count it. So that's testing's exactly about. So you are checking whether the solution actually meets the requirement you write in project 2. So it's highly relevant. And then so BA is the key driver in UAT. Sometimes people call it user acceptance testing, UAT. Just because you are the one who makes sure the problem actually gets solved. For example, today I give you 10,000. You will just not walk away and say, oh, it's 10,000 and blah, blah, blah. What you will do? You're gonna open the money bag and count it. It can be in $50 notes, $100 notes, but what 100% is going to happen is that you count it. There you go. So a lot of people tend to think testing is very tech focused. Again, it's not. It's more like you have to understand the process and then you had to coordinate with the people. And then testing is really like if you find something it doesn't go as expected, tell the IT person and then find out where could be possibly wrong. The underlying issue is our solution wrong or is the tester that did the tester make a mistake or really anything. It's not coding. It's definitely not. All right, then there comes to project 4 or our Industry Masterclass 3, the end-to-end agile delivery. So where Jira is just something that we use for traceability, the mindset behind it is agile delivery. So that's where it connects everything together. It connects all the dots together. So in real work, from the planning stage, you already need to know like, oh, what task is this? Who owns that? What assumptions need validations? What workshops do we need? Who do we need on the workshops? How requirements move into development? How testing is planned? How we track progress end to end? There's so many what, who, how kind of questions. And you have to connect, you have to give traceability to everything. So people tend to think, you know what, a workshop is just one task when they create Jira tickets. But what really does good look like is that you have to think of a workshop. And for example, they easily have 7 tasks under it. First, prepare workshop materials. Second, somebody need to collect data. So you create that ticket assigned to that person. And then somebody else need to analyze the data. Another person. And then somebody they might need to prepare a wireframe or prototype. Another person might be yourself as a business analyst or as an engineer or as a whoever really. And then somebody need to run the workshop. It can be the BA, it can be the BA manager who wants to take all the credibility of that of the poor BA. And then somebody need to take meeting minutes. They always need to do it. They always need to be somebody who's willing to do the dirty job. And then somebody who's going to send out the minutes. It can be a PMO, it can be the BA itself. So there are, I think I've already listed 10 different tasks under a workshop. So yeah, every task needs an ownership. So that's why our fourth project is crucial. It teaches you how to track everything inside Jira, but how to maintain traceability and really how a real agile project runs from start to finish. So yeah, so let's bring all the 4 projects together within the 3 classes, right? So let me summarize the logic. First, process improvement. We have a problem. We have a problem. Process improvement. It's about we have a problem. And second, requirement and testing. How do we solve the problem? And how do we confirm the problem is actually solved? Very relevant, right? How do we solve the problem? And how do we confirm the problem is actually solved? And then last, project tracking. How do we manage everything end to end? So once you see that structure, the entire world of business analyst making that makes sense because then that's where you start to connect all the dots together. That's what I like to say these days because everyone here you have all the dots, you have all the little pieces of everything coming from everywhere, but what you really need to do is connect all the dots together to make your own BA thing, a BA framework or a BA project, a BA thing. So yeah, so here is what we are here today for project 1. And righto, I've talked so far. Before we jump into project 1, does anyone have any questions? Or if you feel shy speaking up, just drop your question into Zoom chat anytime. I will pick it up when I see it. Yeah? Okay, cool. So, all right, if we are all good, let's get started on the foundation of the first project, process analysis and process improvement. Because a lot of people think sometimes like, "Oh, I'm just an admin, I'm just an engineer, I haven't done anything." But that's absolutely not true. Every organization has processes. Everyone remember, every organization has processes. Doesn't matter you coming from self-employed background or retail, you name it. There's so many retail and manufacturing. There's so many processes, and also technology. There's a lot of processes. For example, IT tickets when you open and when you assign and when you create or redesign a workflow. That's all the processes. So if you've ever, let's say, greeted a customer or processed paperwork or even printed documents, prepared invoices, checked in emails, updated a spreadsheet, validated data, approved a request, they are all processes. And processes are always messy. Almost always, but yeah, in reality, always 99.9% messy. So they are rarely standardized. And that is why a BA work exists. So now we will begin with, let's say, what is a process in your business? And then how do we map it? And then how do we find the pain point? And you know what? This is going to be a very practical and a transformative session, especially for those of you who are changing careers or who come from a non-BA background, like payroll, manufacturing, or retail, accounting, logistics, customer service. Because today I'm going to teach you something that truly shifts the way you think. I did task to, well, actually, I solved business problems. And this shift is that's exactly what makes somebody a business analyst, well, at least starting from a beginning. Because most of the people think they don't have a BA project. But the truth is, any workflow you've ever touched that can be turned into a process optimization project. So that's why today's session is extremely powerful. Grab your worksheet. Let me know once everyone has the worksheet done and open. And because later we are going to put some of the information there, I'm going to add a bit more of my notes, and then I hope everyone follows me. And yeah, again, doesn't matter if you're coming from retail stores, payroll, month-end accounting, it doesn't matter. So yeah, grab your worksheets and just let me know once you have it ready. And you can put one or just ready, worksheet ready. Okay, cool. Okay, fantastic. So let's go to our first table to be filled in